Hello, Dr. Wong. This is Tim. I'm just going to go through my professional practices reflection with you as I talk through this PowerPoint that I created. It's kind of a simplistic PowerPoint, but I want to do the screencast so I could, talk my way through it with you. Okay, first up was my experience constructing the rubric. And I just want to say that constructing the rubric with my group was relatively easy at the beginning. Uh, Everybody, was really receptive to everybody's ideas. We all had input into the rubric, and it was kind of happy, kumbaya at the beginning. Everybody was really good with it. Once we started editing it, though, it got a lot more difficult. It people's true, where their passions truly laid was, really became evident. Uh, Starting to get some of the points narrowed down was a lot more difficult, especially when you had us go to the 4-point scale instead of the 5-point scale. And then we're trying to decide, is this point a 5 or is this point a 4, or okay, now that we have a zero, we can't have a 0. Oh Lord, now what? All those things really started coming up, and there was a lot more compromise at that end. And at the end of it, I still feel our section could have been better. The there was some points in student engagement that I felt that were is a little too gray in some instances, and I felt that that section could have also been subdivided into a whole nother section, because it started talking about objectives and having, do the students have enough objectives? Does that really relate to student engagement? Those kinds of things that I felt could have been better. Okay, my 2-year self-evaluation. I went through, scored myself on all 4 videos that I'm be sending to you. And for video 1, I came up with myself as a 40. Uh, Video 1 is this, where students were doing a station lab, and I gave myself a 1 in one area because there was no questioning. It was about the students, kind of working through on their own. I wasn't doing there was really no questioning involved, so that knocked me down in that point. Video 2 was again, they watched a video and then they were doing an inquiry type session where they had to create a question based on the video, and then they had to research that question. And since there was really no questioning involved, I gave myself a 1. Also, pre-AP class, a lot of kids were kind of off task, so I dinged myself on that one. Video 3 from this year just had a delivery, and so misconceptions. I kind of knocked myself down a little bit on. And video 4, as you can see, I gave myself a half a point in one area. It was in between a 4 and a 3. And I really didn't think I was that much of a 4, but I didn't think I was that much of a 3, so I cut the difference and gave myself a 3.5 on it, and that was in the misconceptions. Okay, conceptual dilemmas. How do I negotiate conceptual dilemmas in my classroom? And this is where I feel that being a more experienced teacher now has helped me when I get to those kinds of issues. And also this training and my education now within, through iSmart, has helped me, with these dilemmas, how to, get these issues across to kids. What are more resources that I have? It's helped me understand how to teach these students, how to try new things. That has really helped me when I get through conceptual dilemmas. Pedagogical dilemmas. Again, my training and education. My toolbox has become more, more full because of this. I've also found using 5E model has helped a lot with the students. As much grief as I gave it when I first started teaching, I've come to realize that the 5E is a very effective way of teaching. And also I listed bravery. Your song that you played for us really, song was okay, but it was the message that was in the song that I felt that really helps summarize being a teacher, is that part of being a teacher is being brave and being able to trust in yourself enough to try new things. And that's where that comes in. It also can relate back to conceptual dilemmas, but also applies here on pedagogical dilemmas. How do you, being secure enough in yourself to try something. If it doesn't work, you can scrap it and you can go on. Cultural dilemmas. I don't have a lot of cultural dilemmas in the classroom. The biggest being, though, is ESL students. And that's, they're coming from a different culture, and their education is different. How do they assimilate to the United States classroom? Also, they may not have as much education, language barriers, all these different things have to be negotiated here. And how do I account for that? For ESL kids, it's cognates. It's a lot of realia. Also, I like pairing them up with, students who are, it could be, somebody who was, if they're brand new to the country, I'll pair them up with somebody who's been, maybe still an ESL student, but who's been here a couple of, a year or two. Somebody's a little more experienced, but tends to speak the same language as them. I don't mind if they're speaking their native language, as long as it's on topic, and I've learned enough Spanish to be able to tell if they're on topic or if they're talking about boys or girls. Right? And so that's how I negotiate those. And then I have political dilemmas. The only one that I really have in my class is the Big Bang Theory Origins of the Universe. And the way I combat that is I just tell the kids, I've only had one or two who've ever, kind of gotten, up on it. And I just tell them, we're in a science class, we look at evidence. That really, I start giving them the evidence that we have for the origins of the universe, and that kind of, that abates them. And I've never had a parent call or somebody, complaining about it. So I just keep going with that. Constructivist teacher I am. Easiest way I thought to do this was just to put up a simple number line and plot where I am. And I give myself about 7.5. I like to think of myself as more being higher, but in reality, I'm somewhere down the continuum a little bit. I'm striving to get there, and it goes back to everything that we've learned about teacher beliefs. And, a lot of it is how you were taught, how you went through education as a kid. And it was all, teacher-centered classrooms. And I'm still combating that and trying to change that. Because there's times where I sit there and I say, I haven't talked to these kids. I haven't taught them anything. And it's just kind of hard for me to wrap my head around that. Yes, they've been making posters. They've been doing gallery walks. They've been doing station labs. Have they really been learning anything? And that's, have I gotten through, have I cleared up any misconceptions yet? And that's where I kind of, okay, I need to talk to them for a little bit. We need to have some conversations. And I need to get better at, as I do the direct teaching, make it more student-centered directed teaching than teacher-led. And that's where I need to really work. What are my best practices? What do I consider to be best practices? Hands-on, minds-on. I like hands-on activities. I like because it gets them engaged and it gets them thinking. Student-centered. Who's the star of the classroom? The kid. It's not about me. They're there to get an education. They're not there to see me. It's not a comedy show. Quality use of technology. And QRs is just a reminder to me. We have teachers on our campus who think that using a QR code to answer a question a couple times a year constitutes technology in the classroom. That does not. It's got, if I'm bringing the technology, it's got to be quality use. Inquiry. I never really did inquiry-based teaching until I started iSmart, and now that I have done it, I see the benefits of it, and I really like it, and we'll be using a lot more of it. And differentiated classrooms, giving the kids opportunities to do what they think best because everybody learns in a different way, and giving them choices, menus, that type of thing helps them learn in their best way possible. Do my practices reflect my beliefs? Yes, in the inquiry, technology, hands-on. I feel I do a really good job of practicing what I preach or believe. And sometimes no, it's not reflected in the videos. As I stated before, on the constructivist teacher slide, there is some direct teaching which I'm still working through and trying to overcome and change my practices to match my beliefs. That ends my presentation. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me. Thanks for everything you've done, Dr. Wong. It's been really great having you as one of my teachers. Thank you very much. Have good holidays, and I'll be in touch with you through Capstone.